Welcome to the DGD podcast. It is early signing day, folks. December 21st, 2022. There's a lot already been going on. It is obviously noon. We are here with Juan Daniels, Kobe, and Luke Hughes, which leads us to our show announcement. We're starting off hot and heavy. Um, the announcement that we posted yesterday, we mentioned it, teased it here. It is live. Want to announce that DGD podcast is now sponsored by Apotheos Roastery, a Kennesaw-based coffee company. Luke, first off, welcome to the show. Glad to have you.
hmm Thank you for having me, y'all.
So obviously, I'm curious to see how many folks are going to be, understanding of what Apotheos is. So let's start off by this. Explain to the folks what Apotheos Roastery is.
So we're a craft coffee company. We've been roasting coffee and running coffee shops around Atlanta for about 30 years. And our brand's name, Apotheos, comes from a Greek word, apotheosis, which means to hit the height of your craft. So it's kind of a ethos for the company of we're good today, but we want to be better tomorrow. We're always chasing perfection. And so when it comes to our coffee, we're always seeking that next perfect roast, that next perfect cold brew, and just trying to deliver a nice cup of coffee each and every time we sell.
So I am an avid coffee drinker. The folks that know me well. Listen, I drink a Tervis cup of coffee every day to start my morning. So coffee is important to me. So quality coffee is also important there. But I'm curious here. Like, I want to let the folks know that Apotheos actually has ties with the University of Georgia. Explain
Mhm.
how you are associated with the university.
So, as you can clearly see from the logo on my hat, we're the official coffee and cold brew partner of the Classic City Collective. And the role we kind of play working with the collective is to aid out in their sustainability model. A lot of the collectives out there right now, they're just relying upon donors just being kind and giving them the money, but that's obviously just not sustainable year to year. And so our role in the collective is to create a bunch of different business avenues where via the power of our coffee and our coffee shops, we're able to attribute percentages of revenue to the collective to aid them in their mission in empowering student athletes at the University of Georgia.
Yeah, so one of the things when we first were talking, Luke, was you have a specific blend of coffee, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the Classic City Collective. You both have a dark and a medium roast. Obviously, for those that are coffee fans, you kind of understand. Sorry for those that aren't. Um, but the special thing about those specific blends are the fact that you have 20% of those proceeds. And I think that's a big deal, right? I think that's a big deal. It's
Mm-hmm.
especially in today's, world of college football, right? When you have NIL collectives for most all universities across the country. Don't talk about those collectives down in Gainesville because it's not looking good right now. But nonetheless, right? So for those listening, watching, basically what that means is you go buy that coffee, that specific triple C as I call it blend, and you pay that. You're indirectly, if you will, uh, supporting the collective as well. And that's the collective, folks. If you're not familiar, that Kirby Smart was publicly promoting. So if you're curious, right, on how to support, just buy some Apotheos coffee. Right, just buy some
Mm-hmm.
Apotheos coffee, specifically that, right, and that specifically will help. Um, so I think that's a great idea, right? Even if you listen, everybody has a coffee drinker. A coffee drinker, right? You do. Let's be honest. You don't even have to drink coffee. Just buy it as a gift, or if you want to help the collective, just buy some coffee. Santa drinks Apotheos coffee. Mm,
Mm-hmm.
mm,
Oh, he does.
mm.
You can see it
He
on our
knows.
social
Listen,
pages.
oh, no doubt. He is checking his list right now, checking it twice. Wanta Claus is actually taking the time out of his hectic schedule and making an appearance on today's show. So I'm all for it. Like, listen, the last show before Christmas, folks, I'm in the spirit. I've got the Wet Bandits shirt. If you find them, let us know. Obviously, you got Wanta Claus here. The brigade knows all too well. But I want to ask the brigade here. So while we have Luke on, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. We will read them out and let Luke explain.
There's Pat with one right now.
There we go. Pat says, "Is the Triple C blend the only one that goes to the collective?"
As of right now, yes, it is the only one going to the collective. But we're currently with this show, and then also with participating athletes via NIL opportunities. We provide distinct URL codes to the athletes and then also to the DGD podcast. And anytime you click on that link, it does not matter if you buy the CCC blend or our Mexican single origin coffee. The link tracks it as a Classic City Collective conversion, and it goes through back to the collective.
So to clarify, if you use the link that we'll provide, if you go to our website, first off, dgdpodcast.com, you will see the Apotheos logo where you can go in and actually buy coffee. That when you do that, you will have the link ready to go. And then from there, right, you will help the collective as well. So we are going to start implementing that wherever you go. It's not here today on the show notes. For those listening on podcast, it will be there. Starting next episode, we wanted to keep it as secret as possible, so we didn't put it in the show notes today. Should be able to edit that after this, so just giving you a heads up there.
Got two questions. How do you get the coffee in their office? So we've got two people that are asking for coffee in their office.
Okay, well, I mean that's very easy. I'm also about to violate rule number 1 of sharing your email address, but there's actually a page on our website under the Office Coffee tab. You can find my email under that. It's lhughes@apotheosroastery.com. And if you just reach out to me, we can establish a free tasting and try to find a way to get our coffee into your office. We work with a variety of distributors, so we can usually make it happen anywhere in and around Atlanta and across Georgia. And the good thing about the Office Coffee program is 50% of the proceeds from the Office Coffee accounts go back to the collective. So that's kind of our most powerful avenue we currently have running with the Classic City Collective.
Absolutely. So I do have a question for you. Cold brew, right? A lot of people are doing cold brew now. We've talked about it. It's in the process. You can go to the physical location, right? The physical Apotheos location and get cold brew. I know that's in the works. So for those listening, if you're a cold brew drinker, go to Apotheos's location and you can get some cold brew. I've heard good things about that as well. I'm assuming that moving forward, you're looking at expanding into opening, possible depending on things, getting cold brew out in the system as well, right?
Yeah, we're actually currently we're opening a full service coffee shop just outside Athens, right outside Watkinsville in the Wire Park development. And then we're currently opening 5 coffee bars inside Walmarts around Metro Atlanta. And so those will be cold brew distribution points. And then we're working with a few other businesses in and around Metro Atlanta and Athens to land our canned cold brew inside their retail locations.
So cold brew is available at the locations y'all have currently, correct?
Yeah,
okay.
And there's
so you can get, so you don't have to necessarily go to Apotheos, even though it'd be ideal, but other locations, and that's on the Apotheos website as well. You can find locations and retailers where you can get the Apotheos coffee as well. Let's see if there's any other questions.
Well, so Luke, I've got accounts in Watkinsville and also Athens. So I usually will make coffee runs, but I'll make sure that I come by and see you guys and then bring that into these offices. And, then I'll report back and then obviously let them tell about their experience with this Apotheos coffee. Pretty excited about it.
Thank you.
So we have commenters, obviously. Apparently, Pat says that Kobe is going to flip Rudolph from the North Pole to UGA. And I'm all for that too, by the way. Listen, we getting everybody. Listen, I'm excited, obviously, with this sponsorship. Like I said, I'm an avid coffee drinker, right? Like I need it in my life, especially today, right? With early signing day, hot and heavy, first thing in the morning. It's just so important for me, and I'm sure it's important for a lot of other people. Wanta Claus making house calls Pat digs that. So any more comments or questions, I should say, from the brigade before we continue? Kobe, I know Juan, Kobe, are there anything that y'all can, I guess, any questions that y'all have for Luke while we have him on the show? Now,
Not for me.
actually, I just thought of one. So Luke, so your dark roast. There's some technology, if I'm not mistaken, that y'all have that's pretty unique, if you will. I would assume. Can you explain that process? So, for those that are interested, dark roast, right? Is it's sometimes people associate it with being extremely bitter, things like that. Explain that process and technology that Apotheos has.
Yeah, so it's kind of twofold. It's a mixture of our roast philosophy as well as the technology we have. So our roasting philosophy is more of the low and slow variety. We don't believe in getting the temperature in the roaster really high because that leads to what is called the second crack of the beans. And that second crack is what releases the bitter oils, the amino acids that people usually say, oh, I don't like coffee. They're talking about those oils. So if you're able to keep those oils within the bean, then you're able to produce a smoother, richer, more pleasant cup of coffee that you don't have to cut with cream and sugar to enjoy. So that's the
That's the key,
overarching.
folks.
Mm-hmm. And
That's
then
the key.
the roasting machine we have, when we bought it back in 2019, it was one of one in the country. Nowadays, it's probably one of three or one of five, but it's a semi-automatic roaster. So the minute our head roaster, Jason White, is able to produce the perfect roast, in his opinion, the one he was hunting for, then he can just go to the sideboard computer on the roaster and click Save Profile. And then the machine remembers every variable that went into creating that roast, the number of turns inside the roasting barrel, the fuel level, the airflow level, the exhaust level, and it recreates that every single time. So when you buy a roast from us today, it's going to be the same quality of roast you get from us in 5 years. So it just allows perfection in an industry that usually has a lot of variance in the roast.
I mean, for me, this might sound nerdy, but I'm loving this because I've always been on the hunt for coffee that that it's pleasant when you drink straight black coffee, if you will. You
Mm-hmm.
know, obviously coffee has actual health benefits as well. So drinking coffee straight black is actually healthy for you too. So being able to drink a coffee that you can comfortably sip on, whether it be medium roast or dark roast, straight black, right? For those people, because coffee is an acquired taste, if you will. Um, so understanding that technology, right? Even though it sounds super scientific, which I mean it kind of is, but to me, I feel like people that question the dark roast and things like that should also look at Apotheos and just maybe give one of your dark roast blends a try. Is there anything else that you want to throw out there about Apotheos that maybe we have missed to this point? Is there anything that we've missed?
No, not really. It's just I think the overarching kind of theme behind our company is we're all about being bolder, brighter, better together. We made that a tagline, and we think it applies to our coffees, where when you combine the beans together, they become bolder, brighter, and better together. But it also applies to our communities, where you're bolder and brighter and better when you all come together. So that's why we do work with the collective, and then we have a host of other give back initiatives across the company. So we're all about using the power of coffee and the power of craft goods to kind of bring it to affect change within our local communities our businesses operate in.
Absolutely. You talk about brighter and everything and better together. That sounds like Roots, and especially Roots and Kobe. I'm just going to leave that there. If you know, you know. All right. So, with that being said, first off, if you're listening, if you're watching, make sure to follow Apotheos on Twitter. It's their handle is at Apotheos Coffee. I'll spell it out just to make sure people listening understand. It's APOTHEOS Coffee, COFFEE. Just in case there's some reason that people forgot how to spell, have a brain fart or something. That is how you spell it. You can see it scrolling underneath here. Make sure to give them a follow. They also have Instagram as well, and that's at Apotheos Roastery. Uh, So follow them on social media. We've talked, like I said, 20% of the Triple C blends, if you will, go directly towards the Classic City Collective. Cannot emphasize that enough. So you're drinking quality coffee and you're supporting those dogs at the same time, folks. Um, and like I said, use our link, right? Use the DGD podcast link, and you're, and like Luke just mentioned earlier, any blend that you see will technically be associated as a Classic City Collective blend. So regardless, you're going to get whatever blend of coffee you want or you think that someone else might like, right, to gift it out. And you're also supporting the collective, supporting your Georgia Bulldogs. I mean, it's a win-win for everybody at this point, right? Just my thoughts, right? Just my thoughts. Rude says, "Go Dogs." Thanks, Luke. I mean, Mark Cuban. Rudes is a prankster. Rudes is a prankster. So I'm going to ask one more time before we let you go, Luke. Anybody in the brigade have any questions, anything like that? Obviously while we're live, shoot them in the comments. If you catch this later, just shoot Apotheos, their account on Twitter, a DM. Just follow them, shoot them a DM, and I guarantee you your answers will be your questions will be answered. Excuse me. So no worries, right? If you have any questions, you can do that. There's no problem. They're more than willing to answer your questions. I can guarantee it. I guarantee it. All right. So I don't see any last questions. Luke, thanks again for coming on and kind of sharing the moment of making this announcement for the show and for Apotheos. Want to thank you for your time on that.
Yeah, and thank y'all for letting me join and say my piece about our work with the collective and our company as a whole. It meant a lot. Thank you.
Absolutely. Guys, like I said, go follow Apotheos on Twitter and Instagram, folks. At Apotheos Coffee on Twitter, at Apotheos Roastery on Instagram. So make sure you do that. Luke, again, thank you for your time, man, and look forward to talking to you again soon.
All right, I'll let y'all get back to the show. Thank y'all.
Absolutely, boss man. Have a good one.
Y'all too.
With that being said, folks, that is your announcement. I know we took up a little bit of your time, but I think that was a significant moment because now, the viewers, the watchers, right, the listeners of the DGD podcast can now support Georgia student athletes, not just football, but across the university. So we want to emphasize how important that is by going and buying Apotheos coffee. So obviously we are thrilled to have Apotheos as a show sponsor now. Like I said, I'm ecstatic because I'm an avid coffee drinker, right? I just am. But y'all are here to talk about early signing day, folks. So let's talk about early signing day. This morning has been ridiculous. Most of the class is already signed. Overall thoughts, Juan? Wansa?
It's fantastic. You sit there and look at, we've got most of the guys. The only ones that we were waiting on were Mpemba, Gabriel Harris, and so I just got the tweets that they've signed. So we're waiting on Cottrell, Roderick Robinson, and Jamal Merriweather. What a fantastic early signing! And these are guys that want to be Georgia Bulldogs, and that's what we want. That's what we're looking for, and we're looking forward to Kirby, bringing those guys in. And I saw a tweet earlier, and I think it was from Kirk Herbstreit that said that Kirby relates to his players more than any other coach. So when he talks to you, when he's on that recruiting trail, and throughout their entire time that they're at the University of Georgia, these players, they feel like they're a part of something. They feel like that they're actually contributing, but he also relates to them on a personal level. And I know that, we've all had at some point in time, whether it be high school, little league, that we've had those coaches that could not relate to us, that did not necessarily care for us the way that Kirby's caring for his players. And you can see that throughout the college football, where players just they're picking up and leaving. They're hitting the transfer portal like it's nothing. And there's nothing more exciting than to see all those players from Texas A&M just head out into the portal just because of how terrible Jimbo Fisher is. I mean, he's terrible.
So Juan, I want to stop you there before we go any further. I almost forgot something. So one of our supporters, y'all know him as the 6033 DGD, right? His wife has been battling leukemia for 3 years now. And Juan, if I'm not mistaken, Pat asked for you to say, just believe, right? And you kind of gave a message to his wife. So just want to give an update for the viewers, for the listeners. So after Juan did that, I think it was just yesterday, actually, his wife got updated and found out that the leukemia that she has is not detected anymore. So basically, it's obviously what that means is it would still be there, but it's not. It's basically so little of amount that it's basically, and I guess you could say full remission, I guess, if you will. Pat, if you're in the chat, let us know exactly, and I can explain it to be sure. I want to make sure I am not a scientist, but I want to make sure that people understand just how important that is. So if you're in the chat right now, if you're in the brigade, drop a team Amy, or for that matter, just believe.
Just
Drop
believe,
that.
Amy. Just
Just
believe. It was
drop
awesome. I
that.
had an opportunity to talk to Pat yesterday, and then I heard Amy in the background. So it's just you just talk about something that's exciting, some great news, and what a wonderful Christmas gift to have. So definitely praying for you, Pat, and definitely praying for Amy. I know that it also takes a toll on you as well, Patrick. But we love you guys. Just believe.
So Pat just commented and basically meant that it's dormant, which means it's no longer active. So huge announcement. So Juan, I think it might be safe to say that you did the Lord's work, sir.
Want a clause.
Mm,
Want a
mm,
clause.
mm.
Hey, John Sanford, no word on Raymond Cottrell just yet. So I'm definitely refreshing Twitter as we are doing this podcast. Looking forward to that commitment. But I don't see any reason why he shouldn't follow suit with the rest of his fellow 2020.
I'm expecting all of our commits to sign today. Now they may not enroll early, so there is a distinction there. But I mean, I think if I'm not mistaken, already had what I think 9 of our commits on campus in bowl practices. So to me, that's crucial, right? We know how important bowl practices are. Juan, Kobe, you're fully aware of this. Obviously, I didn't even play, but you know what I mean. It's extremely important. So the fact that
Let
Georgia's
me tell you this. Right now. I'll give you just a little tidbit of ball practice. Nothing makes me happier as an old scout team man to see a young and hungry 18-year-old offensive lineman from I don't know where, and we just signed them, and we're running scout team O-line with 3 offensive linemen, a tight end, and some other guy. And all of a sudden, we've signed the class. They're all there practicing early, and Coach Marks won't see them guys play. He wants to see what they can do against first team offense, me and reps. Hey, shout out to my scout team guys today. I know you're going to be getting a little bit of rest, deserved. It's been a long season. You go through a lot of injuries, so all those early practice, early enrollee guys going to get a lot of reps the next couple of weeks.
well, those early enrollees are also going to get the piss ran out of them too.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, I was I was redshirted my freshman year, so I was a scout team guy. So I know it's a grueling but yet rewarding job, especially when you can actually give your team a great look. I heard also too from another guy that Gunnar Stockton has been giving the defense fits just by going out there playing the other quarterback or just doing different things. And people don't realize how valuable that is when you're preparing for your opponent. And also too, this isn't just a bowl game that Georgia's playing. This is the semifinals. So that's going to be huge. What scout team players are providing for the football team.
Well, I mean,
It's just like 5 years ago when you're talking about Gunnar Stockton is pretending to be C.J. Stroud, no different than Stetson Bennett was pretending to be Baker Mayfield. I mean, it takes a good quarterback to emulate a great quarterback for another team. So,
Yeah, I mean, Rouge brings up a good point here. Scout team is where heroes are made, right? And look no further than our very own Stetson Bennett for that, right? In my opinion, I think that's something that you have to take into consideration there, right? Because, I mean, scout team is, it helps your starters. It really does. I think we all are familiar with Stetson's story, right? From the Rose Bowl practices and things like that. I think that legitimately helped us prepare for Baker Mayfield. Right? They're not the exact same, but you get what I mean. It was close enough to where we ultimately won that game. But I definitely think that Georgia's in a place right now, and it's a good place to be when you can sit back, right? You have, over almost a third of your class, over a third of your class, already on campus. You're just waiting for the signature, right? The national letter of intent, and they're already practicing right now. At the same time, to compare this, you could be Florida right now. And boy, oh boy, I am glad we are not in Gainesville, folks, because shit is ugly right now.
They just had a guy flip from Florida to go to UCF.
Ding, ding, ding.
Because his relationship with the Florida coaching staff wasn't where he was happy with it. Talk about just a knife in the back.
Yes. So I need a hashtag Gator garbage, folks. Drop that in the chat right now.
Yes,
because it's clown 30 right now.
Fresh.
Yeah. So also, I don't know if it was like a midnight type deal, but apparently Graham Mertz is expected to transfer in to Florida. How does that make you feel? Just gonna leave that there. So Kobe, I see what you did there, Kobe. Mateo Uyalunglele, right, has committed to Oregon. So, that's interesting. There's so much going on right now around the scope of college football. But I still want to talk about Florida because shit is rough right now.
Sorry, they got back-to-back 5 stars in like 7 minutes.
You talking about Oregon?
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
Peyton Bowen.
Oh, so he was a Notre Dame commit, and I think people were talking about him or it being a battle between, I think it was Notre Dame and Oklahoma at one point. So for Oregon, Dan Lanning, boy, he's picking up quick with it, learning how to drop that bag. While we're talking about dropping the bag, did y'all see Matt Rule's tweet?
No.
It was like late last night, and it was like cryptic.
It was really late.
About people like paying student athletes, which I don't understand what he can complain about. Literally, it's the way of college football now. Oh, no doubt. And there was also a report. What was it? Pat Narduzzi had said something about he knows there were 2 schools that were offering Drake May, the UNC quarterback, $5 million or something like that. He knows who it was, but he wasn't going to say, and all these things. And I'm like, then shut the hell up about it. Let me tell you right now, and Juan can agree with me. If I'm 19 years old, 20 years old, and a legitimate national championship contender goes, I'll pay you $5 million to come here every year for the next 2 years. Buddy, my bags are packed.
No brainer.
We'll be seeing you.
Heck, I don't even need $5 million.
If you million back to UNC in donation, we'll be seeing you.
I'll take 50,000. I mean, it's 19 years old like that. That's a lot of money, and that's a lot of snacks. You go to talking about Foot Locker and get any shoe you want.
I got you guys. Fuck your couch. Buy another one.
Well, we like to talk
That's a lot
about,
of
and
money.
Kirby loves to talk about like, oh, NFL money's better than NIL money, and I agree. Until someone offers you $15 million to come play there for 3 years.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be like
See
Well,
ya.
not to mention too, like you got an early start, as a freshman. And if you're smart and you invest that money, do the right things with that money, and not go out there and be a knucklehead, I mean, you're going to be set for life whether you go to the NFL or not. Duh.
yeah, I mean, come on, man. Like,
It's just a bad life investment at some point. I mean, if it,
Yeah.
and I didn't even
To
say
me-
it's real. Like somebody might not have offered him that money, but if
To
they
me-
did, if he turned it down, like
well,
you
that's like the Nico. That's like the Nico. To me, it didn't make sense. Well, this is a little bit different. I understand that, but like I remember when the $8 million figure got dropped on Nico. Y'all probably remember that report or whatever.
Yeah. Tennessee
I
guy.
I questioned the validity of that at the time. I seriously questioned the validity of that figure for this. I know he's an excellent quarterback, right? But is he worth $5 million like that? I doubt it. Doubt it. Maybe to the right team.
It's hard unless you come in there and establish yourself like a Bryce Young, right? I mean, you kind of figured Bryce Young was going to be that guy based off of his high school stats, but then guess what? The battle was between Bryce Young and DJ in high school, and DJ, who word has it, there's a good chance that he may sign with Hawaii, which it would probably suit him well to go out there and sign with Hawaii. It'll give him a couple of years of practice on his throwing, because they throw the ball a lot. But if you mean to tell me, how mad would Clemson have been if they had given DJ $8 million? They would have just been livid.
So I want to give a breaking news here, folks. The Dogs land a commitment from Kyron Jones, listed as a running back up here from Charlotte, plays at Charlotte Christian. Apparently, he is just committed to Georgia. And honestly, listen, I think that kid has some bona fide speed. Notice a trend. Notice a trend here, guys. Speed, 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 speed. Now, I think there's a potential you could see him play some defensive back, but I wouldn't be mad at seeing him as a running back either because he's like 6'1". I want to say like a 10-6 in the 100. That's fast, folks. That is fast. Michael Dudley in the chat saying, "Hey, Wanta, been a while." It has.
Yes, sir.
Indeed, it has. So expect a Go Dogs commitment. Also, this happened earlier, but Daniel Harris coming back into the fold. What are y'all's thoughts on that? Right, I know So the backstory to this, right? He decommits from Georgia, right? Decommits, kind of opens himself up. There's a speculation that Penn State could be in play here. Ultimately, decides to come back into Georgia. Obviously, listen. Georgia's defensive back haul, on top of what we've got in that room, is stupid. It's stupid. But what are y'all's thoughts on the Daniel Harris recommitment, if you will?
I mean, I like it. I mean, he knows what he's getting into. You've got the potential of I can't even think of his name leaving. He's the bane of my existence. Ringo. You've got you've got that. Also, too, I think he is trying to get a jump on like a Smoke Bowie. And also, Marquise Killebrew, like those guys have entered the portal. And then also, too, don't just automatically say that Travis Hunter is going to Colorado. It's either Colorado or Georgia. So Georgia's in the play for that too. So Harris, made a business decision to say, hey, let me get back into this fold before I lose out on something great.
Yeah. So would you brought up Smoke Bowie, Marquise Groves Killebrew. Let's talk a quick bit about this transfer portal because there are some names that I think Georgia fans are probably at this point familiar with. But you look at names like Ra Thomas, Lovett from Missouri, Smoke Bowie. Listen, in my opinion, and we'll talk a little bit about a prediction, or if you will, maybe. Do you see these guys coming to Georgia? Right, Smoke Bowie. I'm going to go ahead and say I feel confident that he ends up in this class. He entered the portal. I think he's making a homecoming. Ra Thomas feel the same way. Apparently, if I'm not mistaken, he is supposed to announce Friday. Ra is. Georgia's in a good position there too. Lovett. I think Lovett is another one. That's a good one too. I feel like Georgia's in a good spot there. Now I'm not going to say they're the leader, if you will, but I would think they're in a good spot. But I think everybody really got intrigued when Travis Hunter enters the portal, but it doesn't necessarily go straight to Colorado, right? With that being said, I think Georgia's in a excellent spot here considering. Now, there's a good chance that he ends up in Colorado with Prime, or Coach Prime, excuse me. But there's also a good chance that you could see Travis Hunter in red and black. What are your thoughts on Travis Hunter, guys?
It just depends on the bill of goods he's being sold. Is it a, hey, Travis, do you want to come to Colorado and start something special? Do you want to do this? Or is it, hey, do you want a national championship? He's already got a high school championship. Why not go and play for a national championship on a national stage? No matter where he goes, he's going to the NFL. So, what are you taking to the NFL with you? You're going to take, oh, well, I went and helped at Colorado. We had some pretty decent seasons, maybe made a bowl game. Or do I take a national championship ring with me to the NFL? So, and money's going to be money. Who's going to be offering what? But I think that right now, I think that it's going to be his best bet to go. He's going to play right away, either place he goes. But do you want to face Pac-12 offenses, or do you want to face SEC offenses to see what you're really made of?
No doubt. So Mike, I see your question about Eric Gilbert. Personally, I'm not going to talk much about that. I'm not going to be the person to put a kid in a portal before they do it themselves, if that's what you're referring to. So I'm not going to do that. I see your question. I didn't forget about you. But Juan, we talk about Travis Hunter, and if he comes to Georgia, and you bring in Smoke Bowie on the back end, a Georgia fan cannot help themselves but to salivate at the thought of Kamari Lassiter, Travis Hunter. I think Hunter. Do you think he would be a receiver, or do you think he would be a DB? Kobe shaking his head. What do you think?
I would say more of a defensive back than a receiver. They just rotate too much, and that's going to be frustrating for that caliber of an athlete to spend, over, 30 to 40 to 50% on the sidelines. So he's going to want to be, and now is he going to be versatile enough to be? Yeah, absolutely. He can play both. And that way they can use him on defense. And then, of course, whatever his rotation would be as a receiver, he would be able to get that. But just like you said, you got those guys. You got Malachi Starks in the backfield back there. I mean, that's hell. That's absolute hell.
Kobe, what do you have?
Lost you there for a minute, Robert, but I think you were going to ask
excuse me.
what I thought about.
No, I was saying, what are your thoughts? Yeah, you were shaking your head for a second. Excuse me.
Yeah. I'm with Juan. I could see him being the kind of guy that would say, I don't want to sit and do those things at receiver. I want to be out there as much as possible. I'm still a believer right now that until I see his name on a dotted line that he signed with the University of Georgia, that he's a Colorado Buffalo. I mean, I people thought he was a Florida State Seminole until almost, 48 hours
did too.
before.
Oh, they did. Yep, that meltdown.
You know what I mean? So I just guess that, the kid's from Tallahassee originally and still chose to go with Coach Prime. Pretty sure he played some football in Georgia for a while. I just still see him being out in Colorado. And then with Smoke Bowie, I think it's one of those things where from Bainbridge, really, I think he was Georgia. I mean, I knew he was Georgia committed, but I really think he was heavy Georgia until Nick Williams went out there. And then
absolutely
kind of like with Darnell Washington, Georgia hired his handler this offseason. Texas A&M hired Smoke Bowie's handler as a GA last year as well. So it kind of was like he knew Nick Williams. Nick Williams is from Bainbridge. Nick Williams was one of his key recruiters at Texas A&M. They also give one of his best friends and handlers a position at Texas A&M. I don't see him falling for that a second time at Colorado just because Nick went out there. I definitely see him coming back closer to home, closer to Bainbridge. He likes what Kirby's doing with DBs, and he's an athlete kind of like Travis Hunter of that he can kind of do a lot of things. If you say, he gets here and you're like, I'm not sure you can play DB for us in our depth chart. You might do receiver for a few years and it work out. So
I mean, he was an athlete coming out of high school, so I mean, we always have to keep that in mind, right?
well, it's kind of like I remember Miko. Like Miko practiced at DB for almost a year, and finally Kirby was like, "We got to get him on the field, and we just can't get him on the field at DB." And so he started playing receiver. He was second round pick at receiver. I mean, that's what you pay a big time coach like Kirby or Nick Saban or someone who develops and looks at talent and goes, I think you're going to transition at this level and the next level at this side of the ball. And I think that's where like Travis Hunter and Dion are going to struggle some is if he goes and plays both sides of the ball constantly, but doesn't really hone in on one side of the ball, you might be a little left behind when it comes to the next level.
I'm sitting here looking at it, right? And Kirby, the roster management, right? Like our defensive back room is, in my opinion, extremely deep. Now there's some questions, right, with what we could be losing, and it's interesting to see how things play out because I think you've got Kamari, assuming he sticks around, right? We can't say that he will stick around because Georgia fans remember what happened to Tyreek Stevenson. So assuming he stays and plays next year, you would assume that Kamari is probably your number one. But there are a ton of bodies fighting for that second cornerback spot. Now, at the same time, there's more than just two, but you get what I mean, the importance of that. So you also look at the receiver room, right? You need that true X receiver, right? And kind of going back to our signing class, you look at the portal. I think you could say Rara would be a good, excellent fit there with some experience. But then you look at a guy like Tyler Williams, has the frame, has the top end speed, has these things, these intangibles that could set him up to be the future at X receiver and what Georgia's been missing in the receiver room, right? Juan, you know this all too well, right? Having an X receiver opens your offense up to do so much more. Can you explain to me what having like a genuine X receiver? Listen, you were the X, Y, and the Z, right? You're just goated like that.
Yeah. But your X is going to be that one that just completely just takes the top off the defense. He's going to be the one that he's most feared to run past you. Your Z is going to be a little bit more skilled, not as fast. However, they can take it to the distance or take it to the house. But that X receiver is just, it's kind of like your Jamison Williams or your Jamar Chases of the world, even Jefferson. They alternated at those, the Judys. All of those guys can just absolutely just flat out go. And if you've got a guy like that to worry about, then obviously you're going to have to roll coverage, maybe double cover, do some different things to account for that. And look at it. When I was telling. And I think I sent it in the chat last year when Jamison Williamson went down in that national championship. I said it's over. I mean, he was that
you
guy.
Brought that up on the show too, yeah.
Yeah, on the show too. I said, once he went down, it's over. So if you've got that type of guy that can do that, he's dangerous, and it opens up everything else for that team. So to have an X receiver is just gonna, that's gonna be top notch.
So. There's a couple questions here. So Michael Dudley asks, who starts at edge next year, right? Looking at it, I think you have a guy like Chaz Chambliss, right? But I also think Darius Smith could have a breakout sophomore year. I would prefer him, and I guess Chaz based off of experience. There are some to me there are some vulnerabilities with Chaz's game, and that's listen. Everybody's not perfect, but you have to look at what Georgia is bringing in at the edge position this year, and it's stupid because you have Gabe Harris, which it's just a freak of nature. Sam Mpemba, if you've ever watched this highlight tape, you understand what you're seeing. It's Avatar esque, and then Georgia also can land Damon Wilson here in a few hours. And if you add all of that into one room, now they're going to be inexperienced, right? They're going to be freshmen, things like that, but they're going to be uber talented, folks. Which leads me to my next question. Pat asks me, we know you're really high on Big Jaw, as with Pat, but if I had to pick one out of all the signees, who would it be? Raylan Wilson. Raylan Wilson is going to be the best player in this class. By the time they go to the draft, Raylan Wilson will be the best player from this 2023 class. Kids just got it. Big frame as a linebacker, inside linebacker position. I want to say I read an article from Brooks Austin earlier. 23 miles per hour on the catapult. Kobe, you know what I'm talking about when I mean catapult. At his weight and measurables, that's stupid, folks. That's stupid. You don't make people that big that fast. Kobe, do you want to explain to people that might not know what a catapult system is? Can you explain that to people just to make sure people understand what that does?
So basically, everybody at any major university, and even some high schools actually now, but uh, they basically add a thing on like the back of your shoulder pads, and it's like a little square. They put it in this box, and it tracks to a receiver on a computer, and it basically can track like how many yards you've ran, how fast you've ran, like how far you've traveled in a practice. So not even like actually how much you ran, like live reps, but also just like I know none of you or maybe a few of you have seen like our practice, like whistle blows and everybody's going in like 8 different directions constantly. Um, it basically is just a good way to like you know you've heard Kirby say it probably with Ladd that like his catapult numbers are insane. That he probably is doing punt coverage, kick coverage, doing receiving, running routes. You get to 6, 7,000 yards, 8,000 yards in a practice. It's a good way to like track. Like, okay, Ladd ran 8,000 yards yesterday. Like, we really need to scale down Ladd's Mondays. Raylan
So,
Wilson, it also just does GPS. So for him, moving that fast is impressive. I'd be impressed to know how many athletes at Georgia have ever run 23 miles an hour or higher.
it's Juan could probably go into the building and look at the leaderboard stats. Wilson running 23 miles per hour on a catapult is just ridiculous. It really is. Juan, I think you have a person of interest here, and you, Bo Hughley.
Yeah.
Tell us why you think he's the steal of this class.
He's this. Well, first and foremost, I saw him play up close. He's humongous. He's very, very dominant. But this year they played for a Langston Hughes team that just won the state championship. And Langston Hughes this year is the highest scoring team in Georgia. Absolutely the highest. I think they ended up overtaking that Rome team, that 2019 Rome team that just absolutely slaughtered everyone. So Bo Hughley was huge in that. I mean, he's, the pancake blocks, the pass blocking, everything that he had was just absolutely outstanding and amazing. So when he comes up to Georgia and he gets into that program, he's going to be that big time guy that people are going to be like, wow, this was the biggest steal in this 23 class. And I just think that he's going to be an excellent NFL guy.
You also look. Now we're going to stay on the offensive line. Stacey Searles with this first class that he's actually able to kind of manage through. I'm just going to let you know right now. You have Bo Hughley, and I think Bo Hughley can be a guy. I think he'll be a Sunday guy. Monroe Freely out of Charleston down there at Mount Pleasant, Mike D's country down there. That's a large human being, folks. A large human being. 6'7", want to say over 300 pounds. I want to say 305, 310. It's just massive human being too, right? I'm just excited to see all these guys come on. But I want to go to some comments from the brigade here. Juan is the reason there is a leaderboard. I mean, I don't hear any inaccuracies there, right? Uh, Kobe, if they had catapults when Juan played, he would have had some speeding tickets in a school zone, 27 miles per hour on the post route. Boy, no wonder Kirby got cooked, right, Juan?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Ask Kirby, by the way. Listen. I see a ton of folks watching the show right now. Make sure you like the video if you like what you're listening to, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's free, don't cost you a dime, and you get to sit here and look at the goat of all goats in his little nice looking Santa Claus hat because that's his real work hat right there.
Delivering gifts.
And you got somebody you got Kobe down there looking like he's about
this graphic.
Oh,
Yeah. Throw it up. Throw it up.
Boom! Right there, hit that. And when all of the stars align, you have Juan Lewis and Clark. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, listen, there's a ton of folks watching. If you know, you know. But Juan, the bane of your existence is not who you think it is. It is actually Black Adonis. We know this.
No,
we know this.
It
because
is. I can't even think of his name right now. It slips me.
No, so the reason why I say it's Adonis.
Gosh, it's like Ringo.
No,
Ringo.
No, listen. I'm just letting you know. The bane of your existence is Adonis because he doesn't want you to be elite, Juan. He doesn't want you to be elite.
That is true. I'll give you that. And hey, Kobe, I'm Colby. Sorry, I'm looking. I'm looking on Twitter. I don't think we have any flips just as of yet.
Well, Kyron Jones, if you count it, Colby. Kyron Jones was actually a NC State commit up until 2 days ago, so you could consider that a flip. I mean, Yazid Haynes was at one point, but he's been in the class for a minute too.
I want to sign that. I want to just.
You want that George Pickens, don't you? You want that George Pickens feel, don't you?
Or the Quay Walker, just throw that hat.
It's like, get the hell out of my damn, get out of my building. Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Nothing stings more than the day of.
Oh, well, true. Absolutely. Yeah,
that's true.
You know, listen, that's kind of, like I said, we'll kind of go off the Georgia realm here. That Peyton Bowen announcement, right? Notre Dame commit. If I'm not mistaken, he was a Notre Dame commit.
Yeah.
Then ends up flipping to Oregon. You know, it's not the same.
And, you know, they flipped Baylor's quarterback this morning.
They did. Novosad. Yeah. That kid's not going to be bad either. Georgia was on him for a little bit too. But yeah, no. So if you're new here, first off, welcome to the brigade. Welcome to the brigade for all of those new watchers. You know, make sure you subscribe. Like I said, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and just enjoy yourself, folks. This is the best. This is the best chat, if you will. It's the brigade. Welcome to the brigade. Just gonna leave it there. Watch out for Damon. Yeah, Damon, man, listen, Damon's about to be a dog. Like,
yeah, and that's probably
he's supposed to sign today.
Yeah, he will. I think the only person you're not going to see sign is Jordan Hall because he's going to commit tomorrow. So that's another commitment that you're going to want to keep an eye out for because of the fact that, you know, Georgia's in a really, really good spot there. Before we continue, I want to bring up something that I saw. And I have to give a shout out to my man, the Pope, Thomas Tyson, right? Sent this in. Y'all all know I'm a big Jamal Jarrett fan, folks. I've covered him personally, you know, things like that. I've been advocating for this man well before he was, you know, before he had his senior season. But I just heard earlier today the best damn nickname I've ever heard. Like, I love Big Jaw as a nickname, but this tops the cake. So Thomas Tyson, we were in a Discord chat and legitimately threw out this nickname for Jamal, and it's called the Taj Jamal. The Taj Jamal, folks, massive individual, And if you're seeing this, you'll see the graphic. Dude, first off, I lost it, but I have to respect it because it's an elite nickname. You're either elite or you're not, and that nickname makes you elite.
Yeah,
So,
I'm
Big
okay.
Jaw, if you're watching this, you getting that nickname from me all the time. Just gonna let y'all know that. The Taj Jamal, folks, absolutely. Ruse is laughing because he knows. It's funny because it's true. It's funny because it's true. So shout out to the Pope. Bless him. Hashtag bless him in the comments, please. Um,
I think
so I
I
want
think
to ask.
going back to Michael's comment though with Damon talking about that it wouldn't be he doesn't know about any flips. I think if he ends up signing with Georgia today, it's about as close to a flip as you're gonna see.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
I would
because
say that he's been leaned Ohio State for a while, and it kind of seems like now um, you've kind of flip flopped that back to your advantage. So it'll be interesting to see.
no doubt. So let's see. Mo Money Dog 2, welcome, says DeAndre Moore not signing today. We still interested? Ultimately, listen. Ultimately, I'm just gonna let you know right now. I feel like he's a Texas guy. I don't think.
Isn't that
Excuse
Speed
me.
from Louisville?
Yeah, he's currently a Louisville commit. Mo Money. What I'm thinking is this: with the portal, right, having Robert Thomas, possibly Lovett, right, on top of what we Georgia already has currently. I honestly think you'll see, right. I think you'll see Georgia and the staff, and I think you'll see a push to try to get Rara in the fold, try to get Lovett in the fold. I think you're going to see them try to take more portal kids right now because you got Tyler Williams, Yazid Haynes, Anthony Evans, and all three. I'm telling you right now, folks, Yazid Haynes, remember this name. Dude can flat out fucking fly. I'm just going to leave that there. But with the receivers that we already have currently in the fold, Mo Money, I just think you're going to go for the portal now. So I don't see us picking up DeAndre Moore. Like I said, I think he goes to Texas if he flips at all. So, I wouldn't expect that. Now, if it does, listen, there's your flip, folks. If it happens, if Georgia gets them. But to me, I just don't see it.
Michael, that payment from them, whatever they did with the word "the," is just not paying.
That trademark ain't paying
Trademark.
off, apparently, is what you're
Trademark.
saying. You're not wrong. All right, so Rude says, sorry, Brigade, got to start really working. You First off, Rudes, I'm disappointed in you for not taking the damn day off
See
when
you,
you know
Rude.
you've got signing day. Like that's how you be elite right there, folks.
They should automatically have it off for less like
No, that's yeah. Everybody wants to talk about the day of the day after the Super Bowl being that way, but it's not inclusive. You know what I mean? Like you have two teams. Don't give me that. Listen, signing day should be our national holiday. Just gonna leave that there. PTO starts tomorrow. Damn, bro, that's the worst. Like the timing of that is terrible. Why? Can you Ruse, before you leave, I need you to drop. Let's talk about some. Hey, Brigade, drop us. I want to ask the Brigade a question. We've got so many new viewers right now. If you're just listening, I understand. But if you can and you're able, who do you think will be the best player in this class, potentially even as a freshman? I want to ask that question. Now, I want to see the comments flowing in on what people think because I think this will be interesting to see. But
Yeah, and if you don't have an answer, it automatically defaults to Bo Hughley because that's who I chose.
and want to reign supreme. Apparently, I'm just a peasant. I'm just a peasant in this. I mean, listen, I came in dead last on our picks, so of course you don't listen to me.
I'm not doing
So
so well on our bowl picks though. I don't think
shit,
I'm.
nobody is, dude. Nobody. Speaking of, what are y'all
Hold
stuff
on.
on the bowl season?
Hold on one second. I included my dad in those picks. I read through all of our picks. He is kicking our asses right this second on both.
Yeah, so third party, we're getting third party.
Third party is kicking our
So
asses.
basically, we're getting
bowl.
skull fuck third party right now.
It's
Love
all
it.
I had to hear about the first
Love
few
it.
days of bowl season was just him hitting.
Gotcha. Is he doing that? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So, Wanta Claus, I need to ask you a question. We've got we've got JOGG, and potentially here soon you might see POGG. Um, is there anyone in our brigade that is on the naughty list? Because we need to find out. Is there anyone in the naughty list?
I tell you who really is Tennille. I hadn't seen Tennille in quite some time, so we need to get her back on there. I mean, obviously the JOGG is, Patrick is, Rude's, he's on there. Michael B, Kobe, the moderator. Everybody's on the bad list, man. You guys don't get anything this year.
So just about 4 minutes ago, I see former Arizona State quarterback Emory Jones has a new destination. Anyone want to take a guess?
Rice.
Where? No, that is JT Daniels.
JT Daniels has gone to Rice. I mean, he's just got progressively worse and worse.
I figured they might need 2 quarterbacks at Rice.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I'm going to say, is it UNLV for Emory Jones?
FIU, somewhere back in Florida.
No. Cincinnati.
It's better than Rice.
Yeah.
So Hayes Fawcett dropping the bomb here. Oregon, guys, we already talked about Oregon getting Peyton Bowen and Mateo Uyalunglele. And they also flipped an LSU cornerback commit. Dalen Austin has flipped. So Oregon, boy, the bag is flowing.
Yeah, Oregon is cleaning up. UCF is cleaning up. Right now, we're still at number 2. Alabama's number 1. We're still at number 2.
That's a good question. So I don't think there's a question whatsoever that Bama's got the number 1 spot. Question for the brigade and us as we're going to discuss this. Does Georgia finish with the number 2 class?
Who's at 3 right now, currently?
I want to say it was, but with everything going on right now, it could be a good question to see.
Maybe.
Maybe it was either Miami or Texas. Right now, Miami, they are sitting. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. Miami's at number 3 right now.
If we land Hall and Wilson, we'll finish it too, no doubt.
Oh, no doubt, no
doubt.
A
lot of rumors swirling. Cormani McClain's not inking a dotted line today. So.
Oh, that was juicy too. I know what you're talking about. So, if you're watching and you're not familiar with what the news was, what Kobe's talking about, Cormani McClain, right, Miami's prized recruit, right, if you will, number 2 overall prospect in the country, is expected to sign today, but he did not. His mom tweeted it out. He's not signing today. But then you also see 24/7 Sports lay out a report saying that Coach Prime in Colorado starting to talk to him. We saw what happened with Travis Hunter last year and the meltdown that ensued from Florida State. What percentage chance do we have to see another classic highway robbery out of the state of Florida if Colorado were able to pull and flip Cormani McClain? What percentage chance would y'all give that to happen?
The fact that he didn't sign today, I would tell you that it's more than 50-50. I mean, 75-25.
They said that Deion took down that tweet where it just said, "Hey, you know where to find me." So
ain't hard to find. Yeah.
I ain't hard to find. So
I just think that anytime you can convince someone to give you a few more days, a few more weeks to recruit you, it's not a good look. They're not.
Listen, he took an official. Didn't he take an official visit there? I think he took an official visit this past weekend. Yeah, I think he did. So Deion right now is trying to pull that, whatever USC did last year, and that's all he has to do to really sell those recruits is to say, listen, USC went from 4-8 to having an opportunity to play for, in the college football playoffs. If all they have to do is just get those recruits, because USC brought in 33 guys. And so when the portal hit, or when Deion got there, they said that 200 recruits had already reached out to him. And then, of
Do
course,
you believe that though? Do you believe that though? Like, I think it's possible for sure, but
listen, what he was able to do at Jackson State was awesome. And and he's a proven winner, whether it be baseball, whether it be football, whatever it is in life. He's a proven winner, and they're buying what he's selling. I mean, they really are. And for him to turn around that program at Jackson State, for him to go and then go to Colorado, all Colorado really was missing were athletes and some really good direction. And if Lincoln Riley can go and turn around USC just like that, you can best believe. And then also too, look at the people that Dion is getting around him. He went out there and got a offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. It's not just his buddies, but he's going out there getting legitimate guys that are going in there and turn the program around.
The offensive coordinator was the head coach at Kent State.
Yeah.
I mean, that is an impressive hire.
So listen, and if you actually look at it, I mean, you look at Nick Saban's formula, right? Nick Saban's formula was to get guys who are either former, past, or aspiring to be head coaches. So he had the Steve Sarkisians. He had, all of these guys that were, that were head coaches. He brought them in, and then of course they go out and now, look at them now. They're going out there and they're being successful. And again, you go out there and get an O'Brien from the NFL, and now he's wanting to go out there to be a head coach. And who's the head coach for Mississippi? I can't even think of his name right now.
Lane Kiffin.
Lane Kiffin. I mean, Lane Kiffin went there and he was humbled after getting let go from USC to go to be an offensive coordinator. Now he's the head coach of Ole Miss, and turned Ole Miss around. So now that Dion, like Kobe said, that's an impressive hire to bring a head coach and have him humble himself to be an offensive coordinator. That's huge.
JOGG has entered.
And in a program like Colorado, it only takes one domino to fall before they all start falling. Cormani McClain flips. It's kind of like Travis Hunter last year. You flip, and all of a sudden, all of these guys are like, I want to be a part of this. I want to be a part of this. I want to play for Coach Prime. I want to be part of the rebuild at Colorado.
But it's bigger than that, though, because he has those ties to the NFL.
Yeah.
Dion knows those NFL guys. Dion knows. They also know, too, listen, if Dion, advocates for me for the NFL, hey, hello, they got a chance to go play.
Good God Almighty, Juan Daniels. Meeting canceled. It's a Christmas miracle.
I made it. I just sent a text, and then all of a sudden, Rudes is back.
Also, JOGG has entered the chat. She thinks that it's BS that she should be on the nice list. I asked her to justify herself. We need answers. With that being said, though, let's get one final thought here. We look ahead. Obviously, I don't think you can say Georgia's a loser whatsoever, right? I think Georgia easily won this year, and for a decommitment on signing day, you're projected to still get, you're waiting on commitments for, projected to get Damon Wilson later, and Jordan Hall tomorrow, right? So you wrap up that right there, and potentially, if it happens, rah Friday, right? Georgia's in a good spot there. What a way to get ready for Santa to come and for Christmas, right? It's a good time to be a damn dog fan. That's what that's my thought. But if you had to choose the ultimate loser for today, what program tops your list?
The program that took Graham Mertz.
Ooh. Oof. Juan, do you have an idea, sir?
Gator garbage will always be trash. I mean, just trash.
It's a real thing. It's a real thing.
It is a real thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
If I would argue also, I feel bad for Iowa. I mean, to lose Caden Proctor, hometown kid. Iowa's not a great program by any stretch of the imagination, but I really think that they thought they were going to get to keep the hometown kid, have him play there, be able to use him as bragging rights one day. and you know, sometimes when what the goat wants, the goat gets. Sometimes still is the thing people have to remember over in Tuscaloosa. So
Yeah.
That's true. But
So
if I were to leave off with one thing is you can have the number one, number two, whatever class. You remember that that Alabama, that 2020 Alabama team that won the national championship. I mean, and they were just outstanding all world. They had the number one recruiting class that next year or that signing, and they have done nothing with it. Look what Kirby does with what he has, and the way he coaches those guys up, the way that he again relates to those players, that it doesn't matter where we come in, we're going to be the winner. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
so Wanta Claus, you're gonna love me. I'm gonna be put on the nice list for this. Give me Ohio State because you lose out to Mateo. You lose out on Mateo, right? So you lose out on that. That's key right there. Number one, you just earlier this week, Dylan Raiola decommits. You're about to lose Damian Wilson to Georgia, and also Kaden Lee out of Cedar Grove just flipped from Ohio State to Auburn. How bad do you have to be? How broke do you have to be to lose someone to damn Auburn, folks? Auburn is a shitty ass program right now.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
he just went to from junk to junkier, basically just, that's just.
My thing is this: Florida, you're not exempt from this because you're 1B. But Ohio State just had a rough week, man. Give them a break.
Yeah.
I do.
Make that a hashtag, Patrick. Buckeye BS.
I'll give them a break in a couple of days.
Why's that?
They'll be off my shit list in a few days.
Who's that? Ohio State?
11 days? 10 days now? 10 or 11 days, I think.
Jeez.
They can catch all. They can catch all the smoke for the next 11 days, and then I
cannot wait. Robert and I talked about this on the phone. I can't wait. I just hope it is just, and after they're done smashing them, I just hope that they just blow up their buses and the hotel, everything, all of it.
Damn, bro. Damn.
Sorry, man. I just, went Star Wars on them, but
are we about to turn this into the player haters ball right now?
It is definitely the player haters ball.
Oh.
Them Clemson and Notre Dame can all just go.
We're gonna sit there and put a painting on the wall, and we're gonna look at it, and it's gonna be the Ohio State logo. Ugh.
Yeah.
Like Afghanistan, just bombed out and depleted.
Yeah. Hiroshima. Yeah.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You should not be talking like this a couple days before your actual work day.
Yeah.
Simmer down.
Yeah.
Simmer down.
Simmer down.
Folks, listen, I've enjoyed this. Listen, I've enjoyed actually the entirety of today, right? This is literally like a Christmas before Christmas. It really is.
Yeah.
You get to watch your recruiting class legitimately get built, if you will. So obviously it's enjoying to see that right there. Oh my God. Oh man. Excuse me while I go give your mama Buckness's dish. We going excuse me as I go and fill up Ryan Day's mama's water dish. Damn, Roots. Cold blooded. Unity. Look, hey, we still got a ton of people in here. Make sure, I'm gonna do this one last time. Make sure to hit that like button, that subscribe button, because it ain't costing you nothing. It really ain't. Because I'm telling you right now, next week, you thought this was interesting? Oh, no. It's Ohio State Hate Week. And you heard Juan earlier. You think it's bad now? Just wait. And he won't have to worry about Christmas duties. It's a wrap, folks. It's a wrap. Now,
that'll be full of milk and cookies come Wednesday.
Yeah, right.
Oh, my goodness. Juan confirmed pipes of an angel. Juan, you got the – apparently got – Jesus. Rude's coming in hot and heavy today. First off, Rude, that Christmas miracle there, man, paid some dividends, didn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes, it did.
Oh my God. So, anyways, before we wrap this thing up, remember later. Stay tuned. Damon Wilson, right? Will announce his commitment later today. I think in a few hours, for that matter. Tomorrow, you've got Jordan Hall committing. You've got right just a busy week heading up before Christmas. So you'll justify your good girl status. I'm so sweet. That sounds, yeah, that 2 + 2 = chair. I'm smart. That's what I'm reading there. But no, any final words, Juan, Kobe, before we wrap this thing up?
Hey, go dogs and Merry Christmas to everybody.
Merry
Go.
Christmas.
Safe travels, Juan, as you go on your global endeavor.
Yep.
Get some sleep. Go on a
Down some
vacation.
chimneys and stuff.
Yeah, go on a 3-month vacation like
Yeah.
Santa Claus would, right? Yeah. With that being said, though, folks, listen, make sure to like and subscribe, right?
Not that one. Go get some coffee.
Go get some coffee, folks. Yeah.
Apotheos Coffee. Yes, indeed.
Damn right, man. Go get some damn coffee. That sounds
This
good.
episode brought to you by Apotheos Coffee. Apotheos
Ding,
Roastery.
ding, ding.
Go get the Classic City Collective blend. Thank you.
Yeah. Also, remember, obviously, if you didn't catch on the show and you're just now hearing it, obviously the news, right? The DGD podcast is sponsored now by Apotheos, the official partner of the Classic City Collective. So go get you some coffee and support those Georgia student athletes. Right?
My
Hey,
man.
you've got two former right there.
My man at Apotheos has the Walter White of coffee making machines. Did you hear all that earlier?
Oh,
Bro, that's some high level.
He was like, if it turns 12 and a half times, it always turns 12 and a half times. I was pumped. I was like, I need
60% of the time it works.
It works every time.
Yeah, go get you some Apotheos coffee. Remember, if you're curious, right? So we obviously with the sponsor, we have a link. So go to dgdpodcast.com, look for the Apotheos logo, and you can go there and you can go click the link. So you can go buy coffee. Any blend of coffee, when you use our link, will get you basically the same privileges as if you would get from their Triple C blend, right? The Classic City Collective blend. So if you find another blend that you like and you go buy it, you're giving 20% to the Classic City Collective. So regardless of the blend of coffee, when you use our link, that's the key. When you use our link, you're donating, or basically Apotheos will give back 20% to the collective. So you're helping Georgia student athletes. That's the main focus. With that being said, have a Merry Christmas, Merry Flipmas,
Utah
enjoy
is
the
trash.
Utah is trash. Goodness. Also, how about them fucking dogs?
Let's go.
Have a good one. Go dogs. We'll catch you on the next time.
Go dogs.